All right, let's get started. So welcome everybody to Peerplays weekly team meeting, December 3rd, 2021. Today's agenda is projects and developments update, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. So Robinson, if you want to get started for projects and development updates, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. So this week our major update is that the Dex UI's preview has been released. So this has the major features like Bitcoin related features, GPOs vesting, witness voting, and Bitcoin Sun voting completed. So this particular release is now available as 0.7.0 on the master branch of Dex UI project, and there are various testnets also running uh, with the same version. And there is a public version connected to Yammer, which can also support Hive and SPD deposit and withdrawals. So that was our major focus for the last couple of weeks to be precise. And appreciate everybody's hard work getting this done. And right now, what we're trying to do with the Dex UI is there are a lot of improvements that we need to do, especially on the exchange screen and the Bitcoin related screens. So we are getting that done. And there is a GPOS vesting screen which we quickly completed the development, and that needs some enhancements as well. So we are working on these UI fixes and enhancements. So that is about the slide, and the slide essentially talks about the UX environments, UX enhancements that we are working all over the place. On the current decks, as I mentioned earlier, a few screens are being worked so that they work well from a UX perspective. And for an overall UX enhancement, instead of working on the current Dex UI, we are working on the next. So we will have a presentation hopefully next week where the entire screens will be reviewed and approved for development to start. So from next week onwards, we'll have additional next project also included, and most of the developers will be focusing on UI developers will be focusing on the next project. Thank you. Can you go to the next slide? Okay. Now we have a few slides with respect to the blockchain related developments. So this particular slide talks about the Sun Hive related changes and fixes. So we are merging various enhancements and fixes to the testnet branches, and most important ones being the changes to the RPC code, and a few new bugs have been identified with. So we are trying to squeeze in all those so that we can release to the mainnet. Yeah, can you go to the next slide? This is about the Yammer. This is again the blockchain related developments, and this slide is primarily about the Yammer testnet. So we have Yammer now updated with the latest development branch. So this includes a lot of fixes to the uh, Bitcoin Suns as well as Hive related RPC calls, and the dex2.peerplays.download, which has the latest Dex UI. This is also upgraded, and people can test deposit and withdrawal of real Hive and SBD using this particular environment. Kelly, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is details about the Bitcoin Suns related fixes and a few charts. Let's go to the next slide, Kelly. And lastly, the general fixes and enhancements across various aspects of the blockchain. Uh, this slide talks about uh, general fixes so we had a lot of outstanding issues like a failing Docker build, and for mainnet and testnet uh, we had two different environments as opposed to having an easier uh, mechanism where we can pass two arguments and get this done. So we have brought all those into the latest code base, and we're also making some changes to the memos. Then the replay was always increasing. The replay, every replay that we do to the blockchain was increasing the file size. So we seems to have managed to find a fix to that. In addition to that, we are also investigating few possible market-related API calls, which we might have missed while we ported a few things from the BitShares Dex code base. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? So those the previous slides were mostly were the blockchain related changes, and as soon as this is tested, we will be preparing a. We are already preparing a mainnet release. So in and around 15th of December, we'll have a mainnet release with all these fixes as well as newly added features, and Peerplays JS library. So as we all know, we have been trying to upgrade and fix various issues around this library. This is going really well, and it looks like most of the bugs are fixed now. Bugs, not exactly bugs, so the dependencies and vulnerabilities, those are fixed right now, and we're planning to first test those against Text UI's internal build. Once it is ready, along with the next Dex UI release, we'll have this upgraded Peerplays JS library uh, push to the master branch of both JS library as well as the as well as the Dex UIs. This is going exceptionally well, and hopefully once this is done, we'll be able to focus on enhancing our login flow to a better Web3 compliant mechanism. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so we have the Speak Network claim drop website in progress. This is I've added a new uh, line here which shows what are the technologies being used here, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about what is being used and what this is all about. So we have a small website where people can uh, claim and create tokens on the Peerplays blockchain. And this small portal will be using Next.js and in some cases MongoDB. And since the first deployment is focused on Speak and Hive blockchain, we're using a keychain and Hive signer for logins, and Peerplays API will be used for the final provisioning of Peerplays blockchain accounts. So the detailed summary is given. In a nutshell, we have completed the authentication with keychain, Hive signer, and Hive's posting key. Now we are working on the next step, where the real claiming and creation of Peerplays blockchain accounts will be performed. So this is progressing well. Yeah, next slide, please. This is about the backend required for the previously mentioned website. So in this scenario, we need a Hive snapshot or the ledger snapshot to be required. Here also I've added added a line describing the tech stack being used. So we are using Python and Django as well as Hive API to create the Hive snapshot. So we're having some challenges here with respect to getting the account history from the Hive blockchain, and we're trying to work through that. Kelly, next slide. Okay, so that's all about the marketing updates. So over to sorry, that's all. That's the development update, and over to the marketing team. Thank you.
Thank you, Robinson. Michael, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Kelly, and hello, everybody. Our marketing update for this week. We've been continuing to work with the Three Speak guys on coordinating some content regarding our collaboration with them. They've been responsive. We've been responsive to everybody's needs and making sure that we have consistent messaging and that we are piggybacking off each other. And that's been great to see for the collaboration. I've also been putting together the comprehensive look on the Peerplays history and our direction that we're going. I have the framework laid out on how it's going to get done. Just need to get all the content in there, and I'll be working internally with everybody to be able to get that completed in relatively short order, I hope. I've also begun to lay out the roadmap to be released at the end of the month, which I will go through with Robinson and everything to make sure that we everything is aligned, all our targets are attainable. The roadmap is something that I have committed to putting out quarterly, and that will we put one out at the end of October, and then it's going to hit December and quarterly after that. So like I said, I committed to actually having that done on a quarterly basis, and that will be something that is a focus for us to go on and to hold us accountable on our roadmap and what we're working on. We did a post regarding the release of the Dex UI, and that was put out on, I believe it was Wednesday afternoon, and just basically on the Hive blog to make sure that everybody knew that that was done. And finally, we are undertaking as a design and branding team an exercise that will standardize our visual communications. And the point or the intent behind that is so that our brand will be instantly recognizable as Peerplays on any of our graphic images. There'll be consistency with what the look and feel of everything as part of our brand voice that we are putting together, which will be finalized next week. And the building on that will be like the style guide on how everything's going to look. So there's a consistent look with everything. And as soon as somebody sees a post from us without even seeing that it's us, they'll know it's us. That is our marketing update for this week. I'm going to turn it over to Salah to talk about performance.
Thank you, Michael. Like in terms of, as I start from the last point Michael mentioned, in terms of start, there are not so much growth this week. However, with the new branding that we will be taking the next level of our content and our branding across the web, we are expecting to have like a higher like growth on our social media channels and also blog articles reach starting from next month. So this is like overview of this week compared to the last week. And we see we're seeing more followers on LinkedIn, and the reach in terms of Facebook and Instagram is growing more. So that's given the current state, but as we're expecting to have better content branding starting next week, we will be seeing more growth. That is for me in terms of stats.
Thank you, Salah. All right, Jonathan, can you please give us the collaborations update?
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, so this past week, we've been in collaboration as far as gaming goes with Parlay. There was a number of meetings that took place both late last week, and there's been ongoing conversations this week. There's been some technical API documentation shared with us, and we're looking at ways to be able to integrate that with Peerplays. And there's ongoing talks in relation to utilizing 70 plus games which are in their platform to be working with Peerplays. So that continued this week, and actually this afternoon there will be another call between Parlay and another public company they're working with on this project. And this all comes down to the NFTs, where they want to be able to have an NFT ecosystem for being able to work inside their games. So pretty exciting. In terms of gaming, the popular Hive game, we sent off a proposal after going through the requirements again. We made some modifications to it, and we did get the proposal out this week. We're waiting for feedback in order to do follow-up on that, so that's going good. Social network, All-Star, provided some details in regards to the costing involved in this project, and waiting for feedback on that. And infrastructure, Internet of Things project, we did get into an agreement for the proof of concept that is being developed, which is going to tie Peerplays to a protocol that is going to allow for more distributed peer-to-peer nodes in the network. So that's going underway, and that's exciting, and they'll be announced in the future also. And those are the primary collaboration updates, which happened just this past week alone.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Okay, now we'll get into Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I realize there's not many questions asked, so we've prepared some questions. So the first question is for the marketing team. What is the main focus for marketing on the next 3 months?
Okay, I'll take that one. We have two main focuses. First one is education. So that'll be education on what Peerplays is doing and how it matters and how we're changing up the game in the space, and also to a lesser degree education on cryptocurrencies and blockchain in general in order to reach people who aren't already knowledgeable about those things. We really believe here that there is going to be a change in how people want to view their life, and some people are just scared of the technology because of the terms, because they don't know it. So we're going to be putting out some educational stuff to really help people understand, like I said, what Peerplays does and how we're different, and then in general to a population that isn't already involved in it, what it is and how it will benefit them. And that leads into the second focus, which is going to be a lot of outreach. Reaching out to the crypto community that already knows us, but also to those who don't know, and bring them in, and really executing on the new branding to show how we are humanizing blockchain and cryptocurrencies going forward.
Thank you, Michael. Robinson, I think this next question is for you. When will the mainnet release be done?
Okay, so as I had indicated earlier in the discussions, we're just merging various changes to the develop and master branches, and before December 15th, we'll have a mainnet release published, which can be picked up by the community witnesses.
Great, thank you. I'm going to ask 3 or 4 more questions. Robinson, I think either you would answer it or Jonathan. Just tune in if one of you would like to answer. So I've noticed that the decks and UI is mentioned as a preview release. What does that mean?
Probably I'll take that. So when we had started with the DEX development, it had 2 components. One was the backend, which is on the blockchain, and then we wanted to develop a front end. So one of the easiest options was to look into a compatible one and start from there. But we realized that there are too many outstanding bugs and vulnerabilities on some of the other compatible code bases out there. So we started with a smaller code base, which is easy to update and maintain. And our focus has been to make it feature complete, as opposed to completing it, as opposed to get a let's say a mobile first or a UX first or a usability first kind of product right now. And we also had to onboard a team. We had to train them. For example, it was easy to find React developers, but it was not easy to find React developers with blockchain experience. And then we also wanted to have a streamlined development environment so that the newly onboarded developers can quickly start their development. So to achieve all this, what we have done is we decided to have a minimal viable release, minimal viable product with all the features available. And in the past 2 or 3 months, what we have done is we have onboarded a very large number of developers. We trained many of them, and we also created a very easy to uh, let's say easy to like a development easy to start development box for any UI developer to easily start developing. So we did all these, uh, and as a because of we had to do all this uh, rather than prolonging the feature complete product, we went with a preview release. And now that we have all the housekeeping done, which is the environment I mentioned, and we are able to onboard new developers very quickly. And we also have a fairly good training mechanism. Uh, and so we decided to create a preview first. So that has been released now. And the next step would be we have been parallelly working on an enhanced or a much better and simpler UI with a, and we also onboarded a usability expert with the proven history in developing environments like this or products like this. And over the last 2 or 3 months, we have created an entirely new platform, which has definitely taken inputs from or inspiration from most of the platforms out there, and it is much more simpler. And in the upcoming months, in the next 2 to 3 months, we'll have a enhanced model out there. And while we're working on this long term or like a slightly longer term solution, we wanted people to be able to use the chain. We wanted people to trade. We also wanted people to transact in bitcoins and hive and any other supporting coins. So that is why we went with this initial preview release. And now that we have much more now that we are much more capable in onboarding and training developers, we'll be coming up with a much better release in the upcoming months.
So what, if any, developers are you looking to make development go faster?
So can you repeat that again?
Yep. What, and if any, developers are you looking to make the development go faster?
We are looking for React developers so that one on the next or the enhanced text UI, we may need a few more developers, a couple of developers more. And we are also looking for C++ developers so that the core functionalities like Ethereum Suns and few other projects can be accelerated. So these hirings are on these are happening, and we would be welcome to have more developers.
Thank you. Two left. When could we estimate to see BTC available for trading in the Peerplays decks?
So part of this is technically, probably I'll answer that technical part, and maybe the next part can be answered by Janardhan. So from a technical standpoint, there were a few race conditions which was either raised by the community or found by the internal QA team. So we have fixed most of those. We believe we have fixed most of those, to be precise. And with upcoming release, we'll have a much more stable environment than what it was in the past. So in the past, we had seen crashes, and we didn't know why those crashes had happened. Now we are in a much more confident position, and uh, if we are getting live real-time feedbacks or from home server is operating the Suns as to how the with respect to their configuration files, etc., we'll be able to fix any issues really quick. So with the mainnet release, which is happening in another 10 to 15 days, from a technical standpoint, we'll be in a much stable position to have Bitcoin support. And to make myself clear, I'm not saying that the support was not there earlier. It was there, but there were few crashes happening from a sporadic manner, and we were not able to address them. And for the trading and other aspects, probably Jonathan wants to add his points as well.
Thank you. And finally, when can we estimate to see Hive or HBD available for trading in the Peerplays DEX?
Simple answer is as soon as the next mainnet release in next 10 or 15 days is done, people will be able to deposit Hive and HBD.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sorry, I'd like to add to that. So just in regards to BTC trading, Hive, and Hive-backed dollars, I have been in discussion with a number of people who've reached out regarding market making. So it is very likely that as soon as we see node operators join the network to enable these assets in the DEX, we'll see a fair amount of liquidity start to come in to jumpstart those markets. So this is a decentralized exchange. So it's something where it's going to require a lot of coordination amongst various players, the Sun operators, the witnesses, the community, and we need to all together make sure that things coordinate and that we're in constant communication. That way, there's not going to be any confusion, and we can see a faster release. As everybody knows, usually when it comes to decentralized networks, they tend to move slower than if it was centralized. So we're really hoping that with this very concise communication, we can make things happen faster. So that's the hope, and that's what we're planning for. So we're going to be communicating that over the course of the next 10 days or so that Bobinson mentioned, so that we can line everything up. And I would say the hope and the expectation is that we could see the DEX trading throughout the last part of this year. So that's what we should be aiming for, I think. So that's all.
Thank you very much, Bobinson and Jonathan. All right, so if nobody else has any questions, I'll ask again. And if not, we will finish up this meeting. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you in 1 week.